short-term pains for long-term gains. Sacrifices sometimes need to be made in the short run in order to gain competitive advantage in the long run. So today we're not only here to make sure that your company gains from the sacrifices you make in the short run to the long run, but we're here to make sure that you become one step closer to being the best. Having that said, my name is Aika Navidad.
I'm Pierre Meyer.
And I'm Eric Summers-Rotel.
So let's take a look at an overview of our problem. We see that our problem is that our the customer management system that you guys have been using is becoming outdated. This means that your growth opportunities are being maximized to a level when you can be growing even more. So you may ask, what is our solution to that problem? Our solution is actually to develop an in-house CRM, a new in-house CRM system for your company in order to shape what you guys want in the system. Our goal is that we want your CRM system to be the standard of every CRM system in your industry. So what is the current situation? Your current situation in your industry is actually made up of two sub-problems that make up your big problem. We see that one of the sub-problems is that your current system is stacked up by old legacy systems, meaning that your system that you're using now is made up of a bunch of old ones that you guys have just been updating and improving. Another sub-problem is that the current system that you're using is not prepared for the growth that you guys are expecting. Now, we don't want to limit your growth to this when you could be going up here. So having said that, this leads up to the big problem that your company is currently facing, which is that your current CMS system, we want to declare it outdated.
So, with all that's going on right now, what is it that you need to do in your company, or what's going on in your company right now that requires this change? So first, we want to look, First we want to look at the fact that you manage passively indexed funds. These are funds that grow in a long-term variety. It's mostly aging, so in the sense that you deal with a lot of retirement funds in Canada and the US, and it's a very competitive industry. And because of this, we understand that you need to be able to track all this information. You need to be able to manage all this information for all your clients, because at the end of the day, they are your service. You provide your service to them, and they are what makes you grow, what makes you earn revenue, what makes you profit. And that is the highlight of your company. And the way things work is that clients' needs change over time. As the economy changes, a low-risk client might be more inclined to see after higher risks, whereas in times of downward economic trends, a client might be more conservative in their approach to handling their matters. And so as these things happen, clients' needs change, and you need to be able to track this, manage this, and be able to understand the different change that they're going through at different periods in time to be able to better serve them as your clients. Also, what's necessary is the ability to communicate with these clients and understand what their need is and what is exactly important to them and why is it important for you to manage that relationship with them. Because at the end of the day, like I said before, they are who you serve. They're important. If they feel like they're not getting what they need from you, they will go and seek their services elsewhere. And if that happens, then you lose a lot of potential revenue because that long-term relationship is harmed. Goldman Sachs, who does a lot of investment opportunities for their clients, they actually invested in AI technology that has helped them to actually streamline their investment services. And this is very important for your industry as a whole because it's an opportunity to take advantage of. So why is all of this important for right now? Well, simply put, it's important because, one, the market is growing. As the market grows, different changes occur in the economy. So right now, the economy is experiencing a bit of uncertainty in the stock market industry. And so being able to track certain trends in that area is very key to your service that you provide. Very key to tracking all the index funds that you deal with and such. This provides you, Orbis, with a huge opportunity to grow, to understand the market, and to better utilize your philosophy. Your philosophy is that you focus on the long term. You want to take risks. You don't want to settle for short-term satisfaction. You want to achieve excellence in the long term. And this has happened before in the earlier days in the 90s, where you saw this short-term burst, where you decided to keep on to the long run, and it hurt you short-term financially, but in the end, the long run, you actually gained massively, and you're still around today in 2019. We want to keep up with this. It's very important to your company, and we fully understand this. As clients' needs change, you as Orbis have to track the changes that occur with your clients. Are they becoming more risk averse? Are they becoming less risk averse? You want to understand where they're headed in their thinking process just by tracking their data that they input via you. Are they telling you they want to be more risky? Are they telling you they want to be less risky? Are they not telling you anything at all? This is all important information for you to make decisions for your clients. Employees can also use AI, if implemented correctly, to track these changes, to better understand your clients, and also, more importantly, to better focus now on the customer relationship side, because now they won't have to be spending as much time focusing on tracking everything down, tracking what your clients need and such, because the AI is handling a vast majority of that. And we've seen that similar with Goldman Sachs. They've been doing very well recently, and they have not had any layoffs. So it's not like the AI is taking jobs, but it's helping their employees to better function, which is something that you as Orbis can benefit from greatly.
So what are we currently looking at when looking at a new system? What is some of the decision criteria that we took in mind when choosing the perfect system for your company? We actually called it SITE. S standing for security. We want your system to be secure because you're dealing with people's lives here. These are their funds, either their retirement funds, their pensions. These are all things that we need to keep secure. This can't be leaked anywhere. We wanted to call it for innovation. Innovation meaning you guys are looking to grow, so we want something to innovate, something fun, something that will give you a competitive advantage against all your other competitors. We see T as in transition. Transition not meaning from system to system, but moreover, your IT team. We want to make sure that your IT team is okay with this and that they are transitioning greatly from the old system to the new one. And last but not least, efficiency. We're doing all of this to be efficient and growing. So efficiency is one that we take really accountable for, and we want to make sure that this new in-house system works for you.
So what are some of the options that you have put forward for us to evaluate for you? You can continue using your CMS and try to upgrade it. You can move on to Microsoft Dynamics or do an in-house CRM for yourselves. Now, looking through the options, we've gone through that. Continuing with your current system would be good for security since you already know how it works and you continue working on it. But all the factors, it doesn't work anymore. It's out of date, it's not innovative, and transitioning, if you wanted to update it, you would have to stop using it, which would put you behind, and you can't use it anymore. So it'll cost you a lot of money to do that. For Microsoft Dynamics, it's secure. Its transition will be a lot easier than not using it. And efficiency is there. Unfortunately though, we found that the in-house CRM is your best option. You control the security of it, you control what options you can customize into it, you can transition it, continue running the old system while you develop this new system, and make it as efficient as you need to be based upon your industry standards.
So now we want to tell you why in-house CRM. Why is it important that we provided that system for your company? We see that we really chose in-house CRM because it's customizable to your needs. You're a very unique business. So having a system that is very customizable is really beneficial moreover to you guys. We see that it's built perfectly to accommodate your needs and that employees will adapt to this easier because they already use a previously legacy in-house system. So by providing a new in-house one, they will be more likely to adapt to it. And one more thing is that we see that in an in-house CRM, building a new in-house CRM, we see that you get 100% total ownership, meaning nobody will have this system but you. So if you customize it to be perfect to your needs, that is a big advantage that you have over all the other ones who use CRMs that are like out of the box or something that's a legacy system that they can't really innovate with.
How do we move forward from this point? You estimate that this to be a 14-month plan, broken up into 6 phases. I will come back to this timeline to explain more of how we're going to break it down. Starting with phase 1, we'll start to hire 10 new developers. 2 of them will be there to help with the assistance of running your current system. Since they don't have much experience with it yet, they'll need a little learning experience, and having the 2 of them there will help them both get accustomed to it. The two current IT staff you have there will be able to help them break in a lot quicker. Your current leader, who was there for the initial CMS that you developed, will lead this new project with the remaining 8 developers. In phase 2, this is the planning phase. This is where the project lead and the 8 other developers decide what's working in the current system, like the client tree that is currently being run that you find is the best advantage. What can you improve upon? The current system doesn't have smartphone capabilities with it. Smartphones are one of the most important tools that anybody in the business world, or the construction world, or transportation, that smartphone is a lifeline to all the information they can get at their fingertips. And then what needs to be abandoned from the old system? We didn't get much information from the resources that were provided to come up with but that's what the planning phase is for. Now phase 3 is where you begin the coding phase. You begin building the new CRM system, and the support team can start transitioning in resources from them as they become available. This will allow, we'll be focusing on making a simplistic UI. We'll be making advanced features in there that, as I said before, will work with the smartphones, and try to get into AI integration so that it'll be able to read and understand the information, to give it to your employees so that they can now focus on the more important thing of customer relations. In the testing phase, you're going to start working out all the bugs, making sure everything works. You do not want to put this live until you know it's good. Phase 4 begins the training phase. We want to focus the training for you to start in the Vancouver office. Spend a month there training everybody there to make sure it works. They can also help with the testing phase, as they might be able to do things on there that your coders hadn't thought about. This will help you work out the bugs, and we expect this to take about a month. Then we start rolling out in Vancouver, and once the rollout is successful without any major problems popping up, we can then move into the next phase, phase 5, where we start in San Francisco and Hamilton, Bermuda, focusing on the rollouts there. Once the rollout becomes successful there, we can move on to your European offices in London and Luxembourg. And from there, we can move to Tokyo, Hong Kong, and finally, in your Australia, Melbourne and Sydney. And once all the training and the rollouts are successful, we can move on to the final phase and evaluate how the system has worked. We can find out from all the stakeholders, your employees, your IT crew, your clients, is everything working? Are we being matched up? Are the clients getting the products, the investment opportunities that they want? As I said in the timeline, phase 1, we expect to take about 3 months to find the right people to fit your company's culture. Phase 2 can start beginning once we've assembled at least two people to take over for your project lead. He can start figuring out exactly what features he wants to keep from the old system and which ones he needs to add. In phase 3, we have figured 6 months for the coding opportunities. You did the old system with 3 people in 1 year. Now you have 8 people and 1 leader to do this. Phase 4, we expect it to take 5 months. 5 months for all of that. And then phase 5 is another 5 months with the evaluation phase of 1 month in March.
So now looking at some of the risk and mitigations that might come along your way when implementing this plan, we see that one may be employee pushback, meaning your employees might not want to work with this new in-house CRM that we're providing them because they love the old one so much. The likelihood of this is low because our mitigation for this is that we're going to try to make this new in-house CRM as close as we can to the old one because they love the old one so much, but still make it better than the old one so that your growth opportunities don't have to be stagnant. We see that another risk that we may face is that testing phase may take longer than anticipated because we find more bugs than we want it to. A likelihood for this is about moderate, and our mitigation is to really emphasize that we will not move from testing phase until it is as close to as 100% as we can get it to be. So if that means the testing phase goes from 4 months to 6, we will take that 2-month risk in order to make sure that this works the first time, not the second, not the third, but the first time. And a last risk that we found when implementing is that the complications may arise during rollout. This means that everything might not go everything might not go as smoothly as we want it to. So the likelihood for this is moderate, and our mitigation is to focus it in the North American market, meaning start up in Vancouver, see if it works there, and see if it stays there. Let's say we'll keep it there for a month, and if there are problems that are arising, it'll be an easy fix because it's just our neighbor right there. We don't want to start up in Australia and see problems arising there, and then having all of our IT fly over there just to fix it. So a big mitigation is to really focus on North America, and when we perfect North America, we can then we can start doing the rest of the world.
So, with all these changes we'd like to implement, how exactly is this all going to work? What is the investment required from you to actually implement all that we have suggested so far? So we see here that for the salaries of these new employees, it's going to cost approximately $1 million. This is because we're looking at approximately $100,000 per IT developer that we're hiring. And we believe this to be along the mid to high spectrum for that salary because we want the very best. We don't want someone who's going to mess up. We want to take our time, make sure we hire the very best people to fill this role so that they can get it right. As was mentioned before by Michael, we don't want to do it the second or third time. We want to get it right the first time. We're going to dedicate $100,000 towards the planning phase. This is to make sure that everything is worked out in the initial phase. Sure, some bugs may come up, but we want to make sure that we have everything planned for. Contingency plans are put in place. We want to make sure that every developer is on track to know what exactly we're implementing, how exactly we're going to implement it, and what exactly is required of them time-wise, and to further flush out any finer details that need to be flushed out in that stage. We are looking at $500,000 for the 5 months of training. That's $100,000 per month. The reason for this is training is one of the most crucial aspects of this. A lot of companies fail in their IT implementations because not enough training is given. We've seen this multiple times through different companies. We've seen companies try to implement ERP like SAP, and due to lack of training and lack of proper implementation, it's been very costly and very difficult to readjust. We do not want that to happen. So we are dedicating money to training to make sure that the training is done properly, the employees know what they're doing, they can handle it, and that it doesn't get thrown by the wayside. The program doesn't get thrown by the wayside. And we would also like to include a $150,000 contingency fee. This is mostly because we don't want anything to pop up, and if something does pop up, there is money allotted to cover it, just in case the bug testing phase takes a little bit longer. We have money to cover that to basically protect ourselves from going off the course that we have set. So for our return on investments, we decided that you need to know what exactly you're going to get from this. You have to be able to see some kind of benefit in order to implement this. And so the way we looked at it is into two things: tangible benefits and intangible benefits. The tangible benefits are that your employees can now put more effort into the customer relationship aspect of it, which I had mentioned before. Because now that the AI system, which we would like to implement into the new in-house CRM system, will help to provide more assistance in terms of dealing with the finer aspects of tracking information, tracking all the changes of your clients, keeping itself abreast with market information, so that now the employees will spend less time dealing with that aspect and more time dealing with customers. Another tangible benefit is it simplifies face-to-face interaction between your advisors, your consultants, and the clients. Because now they can simply pull up the information, show it to the clients in the meeting, and they have a better understanding of it because it's a bit of a simplistic viewpoint for the client. Changes in the client disposition can often be challenging. It's often hard to track, especially if it's something that's happening with the current economic times. However, with the AI tracking system, that becomes a much more tangible benefit for you to be able to visually see how they are changing. AI helps to streamline the process, as was mentioned before, and it's easier to better understand what exactly is going on in the marketplace that your client is interested in.
So now, looking back at the whole thing that we just thrown on your plate, we see that our problem again is that your current customer management system is being outdated. Our solution, like we mentioned, is that we want to build you an in-house CRM system that will be able to grow with your company. And last but not least, our goal is to have your new CRM system be the standard for all the other businesses in your industry, so that you have the greatest advantage. So now, why be good when you can be great? What's the difference between good and great? did some math and calculating and see that we wanted to get the project done within a little under 2 years. So with 8, we were able to speed up that process.
The first project was done with 3 workers, or was it 1 year?
Yes.
Is this more complicated?
This is a more complicated system, exactly. The other one had a max to its growth capabilities. This one will be able to grow with you for as long as you want it to be, because it's going to be one of the best projects that we can provide for you.
When you incorporate AI into this, how do you get the requirements for what you want the AI to actually do? Because that's something we've got a lot of experience with. How are we going to guard against the risks of working from?
So, one way in which we would handle this is to ensure that one of the people we hire is actually capable, is actually experienced in AI technology, which is again why we said that we want to make sure that we hire the very best people for this job. And that's what
I have a follow-up question on the hiring. So these are folks on the salary employee in your country. So what happens after year 1? They're going to all stick around?
No, we want the 8 people that are working on the new one to leave, but the 2 that we wanted to stay in the beginning, they will stay with our company to ensure that updates and bugs are always being monitored.
So they would be employees for 1 year and then you would lay them off, or is it?
We would hire them on contract basis.
Okay, so it's not salary employees, it's
No.
contractors. And then, how do you do training when you're still in the middle of development? Because training folks they usually use collateral, but if you're still coding, how do you get collateral to the training?
We wanted to start the training near the end of the testing phase there, so that the employees that are using it in the Vancouver office will be able to actually implement it, and then when they're actually using it, trying it out, they'll find more bugs. Just like a beta phase, you would give it up to the customers to try out for whether it's video game or software.
With the hiring of developers specifically, it seems like most of the resource budget is going into IT. I don't see a lot of requirements or even validation happening within the business itself. If the developers are developing the requirements and rolling out everything somewhat in a silo, what's your mitigation to ensure that this actually meets the business requirements outside of IT?
So part of the requirements given to us was that these changes implemented by IT has to be run through a special council within your organization that oversees historical and technical information. So all of this would have to go through them and they would have to give their approval in that regard.
To follow up on that, most of the people that are on the team are net new to the business as well. So how are we going to make sure that they know who to speak to and what type of advocacy are going to build into their current plan to ensure that the business has experience, not just new people on the ground?
So we still have the original developer who has experience building it, he's been there with me for years. He would take charge of this, he would lead the front, and then in terms of making sure that they are following protocol and all that stuff, again, that would be something that would have to be taught to them through the corporate culture that you have built up so far, but that is how we're looking at it.
I have a follow-up question on the AI question. So the AI component was not a mandatory requirement, it's a add-on. So would you consider that being a higher risk that you want to roll out in the same phase as the core requirements and not stagger it to the same phase?
Yes, that is a risk we thought about. It's new technology, as we've said before. The only way we grow though is if we start doing it. The programmers would dictate what options what options it would take on how it would categorize what investment risk would be.
I'm biting. So the developers of the
It's very
the-